I've been living in the dark since I fell out of the womb. It's alright, constantly coughing on my way to the tomb. It's alright, don't interrupt me if I'm talking too soon. It's alright. I seek repentance cause I sin and I sin. It's alright, I trimmed the fat but now my body's too thin. It's alright, my train of thought runs off the tracks when I sing. It's alright. Sometimes I've tried too hard and I don't succeed, but I've got this far and I'm moving at my natural pace. And if it doesn't work out today, it's alright. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. I got confused explaining science to God. It's alright, an oxymoron, I'm a criminal cop. It's alright, my lights are green but when they're red I can't stop. It's alright. Lovers, they leave me and I'm left out like trash. It's alright, nothing comes easy and it's gone in a flash. It's alright, take a wrong turn and you'll be out on your ass. It's alright. Sometimes I try too hard and I don't succeed, but I've got this far and I'm moving at my natural pace. And if it doesn't work out today, it's alright. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. The pace when I run the human race, when I open up my mind, I can't but help to close my eyes. I found some breathing space inside the corners of my face. When life is rubbish, there's time to waste. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright.
Hi, this is Alan. I like IRONWORX because it's where everybody knows your name and they're always glad you came.
I love IRONWORX with Josh, Walt and Zack. It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here and I just want you to know that IRONWORX with Josh, Walt and Zack, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the IRONWORX.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. IronRealmmedia is the best on the plane. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to the IRONWORX with Zack, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on the IRONWORX and become an Iron Scout.
Let me ask you something. When you come in on Monday and you're not feeling real well, does anyone ever say to you, sounds like someone has a case of the Mondays?
No. No, man. Shit, no, man. I believe you get your ass kicked saying something like that, man.
And a happy Monday to you all. Welcome to the IRONWORX. We are streaming live on Rumble and on YouTube. Just check out the ironrealmmedia channel. Yeah, it's Monday. Sure feels like a Monday. I'll give it that. Nope. See, everything's going wrong. Good morning, Zach. How are you doing?
Hey there, Josh. Could not fall asleep last night. Was partying over at Karen's Saturday night. So I slept in till like, I don't know, 7:30, 8 o'clock yesterday. Then took a long nap. Forgot to set my alarm and took like a 3.5 hour nap and woke up at like 6:30 in the evening. And yeah, I could not fall back asleep last night. So I'm still kind of like trying to shake it off.
Yeah, lots of luck.
Not too bad.
Good.
How you doing? How was your weekend? Anything exciting?
Nothing terribly exciting. Got a good bunny bite right on my finger. Yennefer and Yango were going at it. We were letting them do a little bit of limited free roam. Not like full free roam, but just a little area. But somehow Harris got out. And Yango is not a big fan of other buns, I don't think. Or is extremely jealous. And as soon as Harris made his presence known, then the two siblings, Yennefer and Yango, just fight. They just fight. Just because Harris was visible. They see Harris and they fight each other. I don't know what the deal is, but I was out there trying to break it up and they just want to keep going at each other. So I have to insert my hands into the tornado of fur. And in the process, Yango bit my finger. I think I don't have big teeth, but they're pretty long. So it's small, but it's deep. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah, punctured it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is there anything you have to worry about from a rabbit bite?
I don't think so. Not that I've ever heard. They're not terribly common, especially around here. Some people have rabbits that just don't like human contact and human interaction, and if you try to interact with your rabbit, they might bite you. Luckily, ours are not that way. And we've been joined early by Unkulele Kuduma. Although he may not be available. I don't usually call him in. He usually just rolls in whenever he's ready.
African time. Yeah, hello everyone.
What's up, Duma?
Hey.
I'm alright. How's everyone on this morning?
Not too bad.
Too bad. Well, what time is it for you?
Well, it's 11:08 a.m.
Okay. So it's still in the a.m. Not that
I
far.
already had a lot of stuff I had to do, but it is done. It is done.
It always feels good when it gets done. Oh, what is that? Am I just Jake breaking all the way down the highway?
Gotta love that.
So do you guys have fireflies over there, Nuka?
Yeah, well, we do.
What do you call them?
Yeah.
Fireflies.
Do you? Well, because I don't use.
If you want if you want a Zulu name for it, it's called it's got a funny name, Shobi.
Shobi.
Yeah.
Like I never called them fireflies. They were always lightning bugs to me.
Yeah, I call them lightning bugs too, but Cami calls them fireflies, and I've been hearing it the last few days. Fireflies is just stuck in my head. Yeah, they've been coming out here. Liz saw her first one ever. I guess they don't have them up there.
I could see how it might not be the best environment. They might need a little more warmth.
It is. Yeah, it is cold over there.
And a big shout out.
By the way, she's still in the States.
She is. She should be here for several more weeks, as I recall. At least another month. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had fun over at Karen Saturday. Man. I didn't sit around a bonfire.
Official languages. What's the official languages over there? Besides English, obviously.
That's the official language, is English.
There's no
And
other
then
ones?
people speak
Like
Spanish. People speak... Yeah. There's a lot of Spanish-speaking people. There's German. People that speak pretty much just German. I know in places up near Chicago. There's a big Polish community here. There's a big Russian community here in South Carolina. I had no idea how many Russian people lived here, but there's a bunch. So there's a lot of people that come to the country from all over the world. So I'm sure there's a lot of different languages that are spoken. Like my great-grandmother never spoke English. She was an immigrant. And she never learned English, She was here for probably 15, 20 years before she passed away. At least. But she just never learned English.
So I just dropped it into Google real quick. AI says the United States has no official language at the federal level, and this has been the case since the founding of the country. While English is widely spoken and used in government and other official contexts, the nation's diverse linguistic heritage and a history of multilingualism has contributed to the absence of a formally declared official language. USA.gov says English is the official language of the United States, so take that for what it's worth.
I think all your legal documents are in English, so...
I would argue they are not. I would say none of them are in English.
No?
No. There's a whole separate society called the Law Society. It doesn't really apply to the normal, everyday USA society of people. It's a whole separate group of people, and they have their own language. And that language is very similar to English. It looks a lot like English. It's pronounced a lot like English, but the words are defined so differently. They call it something else. It's called legalese. And when you write things in legalese, it's not meant for the common man. You don't use like Webster's dictionary to define the terms in legalese because it's not an English language. It's the language of the Law Society.
I can feel you starting up your engine, Josh. Go have some coffee.
Oh, I've got some. I need to switch to decaf if my engine gets revving. But that's right. If the legislation does not explicitly define the terms that they are going to use, that they've even got their own dictionary saying, look, all right, well, it's not English, so if you're not going to define this word in legalese, we've already got a legalese definition with an entire dictionary of legalese terms and words for you to use to define. And that's Black's Law and Bouvier's, and there's a few different law dictionaries.
Does your law have a lot of Italian words and sayings?
There's some. A lot of Latin, I think.
Yeah, Latin. Yeah, sorry, Latin.
I figured that's what you meant. Yeah, some. I think there are some maxims of law that are still referred to in Latin. The hell did I just say?
Yeah, Latin. I haven't studied law in so long. It's been such a long time now. But I used to study law in varsity. Fun times.
Give a big shout to Mike THC. I see there in chat. Glad to see you're out of jail and free and living your best life now that you're no longer in the clink. There's a video of him getting arrested for having the nerve to actually speak. So fuck him, go to jail. Do not collect $200. Do not pass go. Right to jail. So glad to see you're out.
Speaking?
That's what he said. I didn't get a chance to really listen to the whole video as much as watch it, but Yeah, it's like
that sounds like a 1983 lawsuit.
Yeah, I'd like to see what they charged him with. Again, I didn't hear, but it's probably one of those things where she's going to have to walk 20 feet over to arrest him and charge him with obstruction. By God, I'm going to walk 20 feet over here and charge you with obstructing me. I'm going to walk out of the parking lot, up this hill, and onto the sidewalk to arrest you.
Isn't obstruction a physical act?
More often than not, yeah, I think that's usually how it's defined.
I mean, speaking is all right.
Oh, he's saying that was a few months ago. I don't know how I missed that. I just saw it pop up on Iron Realm Media page. Either way, still glad you're out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they found something at the bottom of Lake Michigan. Huh?
I said I heard your prisons, they aren't too bad. You have 3 meals a day, decent food.
Depends on where you are, man.
Yeah.
It really does.
I mean, you do get 3 hots. You get a cot, right? You also get sexual assault, so there's that.
Yeah. I don't think that's mutually exclusive to the state's prisons.
No, but
you don't want to end up in like Cook County, Illinois prisons, places like that. You know, I bet Kansas City's got some horrible prisons. I bet St. Louis has some horrible prisons. Yeah, there's just some. Yeah, like if I was ever dumb enough to become a criminal like that, I would do like white collar crime, right? Where you go to the country club that has a golf course and all that kind of stuff. That'd be the type of prison I'd like to do.
Not says the food isn't decent either.
No, I mean, I'm sure it's edible, but yeah.
This was one of those things I thought that I had this weekend. Being really curious about the nutritional requirements for prisoners. And then sort of an in-depth study as to what it is they're actually being served as far as caloric intake and nutritional value of those meals. And like water, just horror stories of that water system going into the jailhouses. People come out like, I've known women coming out of jail just completely lose their hair. Just come out completely bald. Whether it's stress or nutritionally, I'm not sure why, but like I said, it just weird thought passed through my brain this weekend, and then here y'all are talking about it.
Well, someone says the food is the same as the schools.
Which isn't great.
I would even argue schools are better. There's a lot to be said for cooking a meal for 4 people versus cooking a meal for 400. And when you get into that institutional style cooking where you're cooking a meal for 400 people, it's hard to adjust for everybody's tastes.
All right.
And how many meals do they get? 3, right? Or 2?
I believe it's 3.
Probably 3.
I don't know.
They want you probably eating as much as possible, really, so, you know, your body doesn't have time to stop digesting. I think that's what so much of it is. At least once a week, you should go at least 14 hours without eating. Once a week. In my opinion. What I've been looking into fasting and this and that. 14
I actually saw a
hours.
video, 14. I saw a video last night on YouTube about 40. What happens if you just drink water for 48 hours?
Yeah, after 14, your whole, like, you're done. It's early. You're done trying to process food and stuff. Anything that you ate, within 14 hours, it's passed through your intestines and all that kind of good stuff. So now your body doesn't have to waste all that energy anymore trying to process food and get it through your system, that it actually gets to rest and relax a little bit and start actually fixing your gut and healing it. And they say, yeah, a 72-hour fast will totally reset your immune system. If you're having immune problems, deficiencies, stuff like that. I think it's after like 50-something hours, the T cells in your stomach start reproducing like tremendous rates. Because your body doesn't have to take all that time to digest food. Yeah, they're like, I don't even know exactly what they are. They're like the cells that can turn into whatever they need to be. You know, like if your body needs liver cells or these types of cells or those types of cells, those T cells can turn into all these other types of things. And your, your whole intestinal system gets reset.
I need to lose the weight. I needed to attack my fat.
Yeah, that's
I don't really care if it does all the other things.
Like after 14 hours, right there, your body doesn't have any more food and nutrients to digest. So then it starts eating away at your extra fat. And it'll start burning that off. Just 14 hours. After 14, if you can go 18 hours without eating, almost a day, you know, do that maybe once a month. It'll help. It'll start burning off that excess fat. It won't be comfortable, you know.
My addiction is food. I need to do something
I don't even.
about it.
I rarely eat 3 times a day. Rarely do I eat that often. I try to go, you know, every day without eating 12 hours, at least. Yeah, it's weird. I try not to eat in the morning. I try to let my body digest food while I'm sleeping, and then I try not to eat a breakfast now.
No, I think it's more so the stuff that we eat. I mean, I don't eat 3 meals a day. I eat like twice, sometimes once. But it's what we eat. I mean, I have a lot of sugar in my coffee. I have a lot of carbs in bread form or pastas when I do have actual food. That doesn't help.
Yeah, I'm not the greatest to ask about this. I've always been a beanpole. But yeah, about once a month, I'll go a whole day without eating. I don't plan on it. It's just like a thing my body does. It'll be like 4 or 5 in the afternoon. It's like, wait a minute, did I eat today at all? No, I haven't. But I'll start to feel hungry, but then I'll just tell myself, I'm just going to, I'll drink a bunch of water, and that'll get me through. I might eat, like, late at night, I'll eat a big bowl of pasta or something. But yeah, that's like a once-a-month thing. It just, I don't plan it. My body just decides, you're not hungry right now. You need to fast a little bit. But I get it. If that's one of your vices, it's a lot different. It's not one of my... I don't really even enjoy eating. I just eat because I have to. Not really a super big fan. Don't care what it is. I just put it in my mouth, chew it up, and swallow it.
The other thing is I don't actually look... Like, if you see me walking out in the public, I don't actually look fat. I look big. Because I'm a pretty big guy. I mean, I can bench press 190 pounds. I'm a pretty big guy. And I wear, like, very big shirts, which are loose on me, so you don't actually get to see. But if I take off the shirt, then you get to see the fat or the flab on my stomach and stuff like that. So when I say I need to lose weight, people think, what are you talking about? You look strong, you look buff, you look like you play rugby or something.
That's how my cousin was his whole life, just like big bone. I bet your shoulders are real wide, aren't they? And your chest is pretty big as well. Back to chest. Like my cousin.
My back, my neck as well is pretty thick. So people don't think I'm fat, but I know I am. I'm overweight.
Make some babies. You'll lose that weight.
No thanks.
What's your other idea, right?
I honestly, I don't know how people become parents. To look after a whole other human being and have to raise him or her right and teach them right from wrong and put up with their bullshit and they could still grow up and hate your ass. I mean, I don't know how people do it.
Same here, man. I was thinking about this just the other day. Like, man, when you have a child, it's like you don't get a break. Like they're always gonna be there. They're always gonna, you can't turn it off. It's like a 24-hour job.
Doesn't pay.
Yeah. It doesn't pay, yeah. But you do get a lot of great memories and just great times out of it as well, right? I mean, kids are awesome. They're so much fun. I do love being Uncle Zack, right? Because I get to give them back. And be like, okay, now you go back over here.
I get along with kids really well. I like teaching them because I'm a coach sometimes, well, I used to be. I like kids a lot. I just can't fathom having one of my own. I just don't want one. It's too much work.
That it is. Yeah, it's got to be life-changing, I hear it is. What would you say, Josh?
Yeah, I'm sure.
The first second you see a child that you created, does everything change right there?
In ways you don't even expect. Like, you got around-ish, you got 9 months-ish to prepare.
Contemplate, and prepare, and...
Run away.
Does no good.
Nope, no good whatsoever. Nothing prepares you. And it's a little bit like acid trip. Indescribable. I can use the words, but I don't have words to accurately describe it. Not accurately. But like, I didn't make any dinner last night. We just sort of grazed. And again, the weird thought that passed through my mind was all of the time and effort and energy and stress I put into making sure my young child was fed. Always had those 3 meals and that the meals were relatively squared and that he was getting all of those nutritional needs met. Now, I don't fucking care. He can feed himself.
Well, how do you deal with worrying about this little person? Because you must worry.
I smoke a lot of
like
weed.
100% of the time.
Yeah, I smoke a lot of weed. It helps me deal with the stress of having to be responsible for another human life, and it sort of helps me relate to that other human life, too. I think it made me a better father.
How do you let your kid go out and play without you there? Or go to the shop without you? Or school?
It's not easy. It's one of those things you just got to constantly remind yourself. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. You just got to learn what you can control and what you can't. And you have to make peace. But we are right up on that break. And we can call that in the books for the first half of the IRONWORX right here on YouTube and Rumble. But don't you guys go anywhere. We've got some good stuff coming up here for you. No, I saw Craig in chat earlier. It's good to see you there, Craig. I saw your message over there on Patreon talking about a AI picture of the Last Supper that includes Walt, Zack, and myself. Might have to get up on that. But don't you guys go anywhere, because we will be right back as soon as I figure out what I'm doing. Here's a THC Show Live original. Mike LaBrash and his song Grand Rising.
Good morning, I don't grieve the sun. I rise with the fire blunt kissed, I'm one. Eyes to the sky, trails ain't what they seem, but I still breathe deep, stay rooted in a dream. Wake and bake the truth, I ain't just getting high. I'm burning off illusions while I'm looking at the sky. Chemtrails twisted, lines drawn fake, but my thoughts stay clear when I light that eighth. Used to sleep through signs, now I decode them. World's a script, I freestyle and expose them. Still puffing peace when the pressure mount. Roll it up with knowledge, let the silence count. Grand rise, I rise, no spell on me. They spray the sky, but I still see free. Mind lit, third eye stay blazing. I greet the sun, no fear, no chasing. Grand rising, no grief in my tone. They mourn the matrix, I build my own. Burn sage in the whip, got resin on my jeans. Reality's a trip, but I navigate dreams. Gravity don't hold me, I bend that law. With a spliff and a spark, I reveal what I saw. They want sheep, I be the goat. Speak cold in a cloud of smoke. Plant seeds in the concrete. Grew loud, now I float past towers out the fake crowd. Ain't no grief in this greeting, just breathing, believing. They said look down, I looked up. Saw trails of control, still rolled up. My life ain't perfect, but my soul's intact. Lit one for the ones who ain't coming back. Flame in my chest. Inhale truth, exhale the rest. My lit, they can't dim this flame. I greet the day and I speak my name. Grand rising, I won't be shamed. They mourn the lie, I rise untamed.
She been asking why the fuck I'm always difficult. Baby, don't you know that you fell in love with the misanthrope? Can't believe these happy and positive people, it's a call. They go drinking blood to keep the party going, it's a show. I've been staying up all night, just stare at the ceiling, trying to figure out just why the fuck I've been feeling like my whole life is misdirected. Name not on the guest list. Didn't have much money, still I made the wrong investment. Ay, look at these famous people on pills. I do not wanna go party with you and your homies who live in the hills. I know you're popular, but I think that's cause these people are stupid as fuck. Probably never make it in music cause I don't care enough. And I could try to change now, but it's too late. Blah, 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 when they talking it's so fake. Misanthrope, don't you know? You can't care but they still won't. Misanthrope, hate you so much, I hope that they all know. Say nah, 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 nah. Don't you care? Fucking nah, 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 nah. I don't. Yeah, I'm on my don't give a fuck about anyone. They all just showing their love for the benefit. Look at my phone and I'm getting anxiety. Didn't reply to like 82 messages. Driving my car and I'm closing my eyes and I'm taking my hands off the wheel. Don't wanna die and I'm not suicidal, but I just need something to feel. Everybody's so real, everybody too cool. Everybody likes everybody like everybody else too. But don't nobody like you if you don't fake it like they do. Hey, here's a quote, fuck you and everybody else too. Hey, and I could try to change now, but it's too late. Blah, 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 when they talking it's so fake. Misanthrope, don't you know? You can care but they still won't. Misanthrope, hate you so much, I hope that they all know. Say nah, 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 nah. Don't you care? Fucking nah, 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 nah.
Hi, this is Alan. I like IRONWORX because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love IRONWORX with Josh, Walt, and Zack. It's like sitting in your front room having a cozy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that IRONWORX with Josh, Walt, and Zack, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the IRONWORX.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. IRONRealmmedia is the best on the plane. To the show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to the IRONWORX with Zack, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on the IRONWORX and become an Iron Scout.
And welcome back. Second half of the first half kicking off right now. That was good shit, Mike. I enjoyed that. There's some good lyrics. Yeah, it's amazing the strides that AI music has made over the last couple of years. I think somewhere I've still got some floating around that I made, again, a couple of years ago, which were not nearly as good.
There are so many, like, the discussion about the shape of the earth is no longer happening, just on social media or this or that. It's not even just happening at the water cooler at work anymore. It's now entered into the arts. There are so many either pro or anti-flat earth songs right now being made. A lot of them are AI. A lot of them aren't, though. There's quite a few that aren't, that are people doing it. But it's in the arts now. The discussion has moved from, the fringe to now it's in the culture woven in.
Not just B.O.B.
Like this is, yeah. This isn't going away anytime soon. They could shut the internet off right now and flat earth is not going away. It's out there. It's everywhere. Yeah, I saw like 4 or 5 new songs from last week that we played. I played on the show last Saturday, the weekend update. It's just crazy, dude. That AI music is like, there's probably 100 new channels a month that are just people using AI to make music. Wouldn't doubt it. We were talking about this yesterday, Liz and I. I get it. The way the music industry is set up, if you're going out there and, towing the line and saying what, they want you to say, yeah, you might be able to get a record deal, right? Something like that, or a book deal. But if you're going out and speaking truth against, the world of deceit, then yeah, you're not going to be getting the record deal or the book deal or this or that. You're going to have to do it like grassroots. And that means that you're not going to have a bunch of money to hire a band or this or that, or get all that time that you need to put together stuff like that. So people are using AI. I get it. I don't like it. I've used AI to do stuff. I don't like AI, but I get it. It does make it a lot easier to get an idea out there without any help from a publishing company or something like that. What is it like over there, Nuka? Like, the truth speakers, are they frowned upon just as much as they are here in the States?
Truth speakers in what sense? Well, that's always subjective here.
Like anybody that's, like, if the government is lying and somebody writes a song about the government.
No, you can do whatever you want to. You can call out the government. You can say anything.
But can you get a book deal for a book that you wrote calling out the government?
Yeah, if you have an audience, somebody will give you a book deal.
Yeah, if
We
you have
believe
an
in
audience.
free speech within reason, I suppose. All I can say is if you're black, you can literally say whatever you want. There's nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, there's so many videos coming out from the black community saying that they have black fatigue. They are tired of being lumped in with the word they usually use is ghetto or ratchet. They use that word a lot. Saying, I'm not like these people. Stop lumping me in with these people just because we have the same color skin.
Well, where does
See,
all of that come from, though? There's always an exception to the rule, but stereotypes exist for a reason. If a large majority of people behave that way, it's going to be up to you to show people that you aren't that way. You can't just scream out, I'm not that way.
Yeah, they're just like, you guys need to stop. Just hold yourself accountable for your mistakes. When you're wrong, just admit it. You don't have to start screaming and yelling to defend yourself. It's not like it's the end of the world, like you spilled something over or something. Like you might have bumped into somebody. You just say, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Things like that, instead of starting a big, giant drama fest over it. And it's not just
people are sensitive, man. Yeah, people are sensitive, man. I mean, I've seen this stereotype thing where a white lady is walking on the sidewalk, right? And like a black guy or two black guys appear and she crosses the road to go to the other side because, something might happen. Fuck that, man. I'll cross the road too. I don't know what the fuck these people are.
Yeah.
But if you live in my country and you have brown skin and you're black, because we do have Indians as well, and coloreds. If you're black, you can say whatever you want, write whatever you want, sing whatever you want about anyone, really, as long as they're public. You can't just sort of slander somebody nobody knows about. What I'm saying is you can't make a song that nobody knows who you're talking to until they hear the song, and then they start Googling this person. Then then that's not gonna work. But if it's a public figure, a politician, a celeb, you can say whatever you want. It's fine.
Yeah, it just seems like a lot of the musicians and stuff over here that try to, speak truth against the system and against like LGBT stuff, and like Tom McDonald. There's a good example. Isn't all his stuff pretty much underground?
He's a very polarizing figure. He's very pro-Trump as well. Some things he gets right, some things people feel like he's pandering. I don't know. I haven't listened enough of his music to make a judgment call. I think he's a really good rapper. He's got nice cadence, nice flow, very nice lyrics, good beats sometimes. He's a decent musician. As far as his political message goes, I haven't heard enough of it to make a call either way.
Now, does he get a record? Is he on a record label, Josh?
Which one?
Tom McDonald?
I don't think so. He was, and that was when he was sort of putting out that non-truth, blind, I'm just a young rapper with tattoos on my face. He dropped that label and was allowed to make the music that he wanted, and that's when he started spitting that truth.
Yeah, like if he wanted to stay on his record label deal and everything, he most likely wouldn't be allowed to say the things that he said in his songs. That's what I'm talking about, Nuka. Like you can't speak truth against the system and expect for the record labels to still, promote your records for you.
They probably won't even pay for the studio time for you to make it. And if they do, they just shelve it. Like they'll never release it. They'll never promote it. They'll never put it on the radio. If you don't do what your record label wants you to, you that shit just goes nowhere.
Over here, it's about money. As long as whatever you're saying makes money, hell, you can even insult somebody in your video and it becomes really popular. And when you make a music video, that same person you insulted can show up and want to be in a cameo of your music video just to get some points, and he can probably make money off of that too.
No, they could make money off Tom McDonald, but they don't care about money.
I think it's a long game.
It's weird.
It's the long con, not the short con. They'll sacrifice that short con and able to make money for a long con. Maybe they could make a few $1 million off this one album, but if the words that are coming out are turning people away from buying the next album, then there's no sense in putting that one out. We'll just keep putting out bullshit as long as you keep buying bullshit.
Well, yeah, your companies and record companies, that side, can afford to do that. You guys are, shall we say, the main characters of this world.
Well, they're probably all owned by BlackRock, so money isn't really an issue for them.
Yeah, well,
right?
There you go. You guys are the main characters. Everything happens there. What we do is very inconsequential. Nothing that my country can ever do will ever really change the world in any way.
I was watching a really cool documentary on Wakanda, the actual history of Africa, and how a lot of technology came out of Africa, actually, and this and that, and it was interesting. Not saying I believe it wholeheartedly or anything like that, but it was
that documentary.
I'm not sure. They were talking about what's that? Bali area? Isn't that? No, the Congo. Part of the Congo. They had some great African empire at one time where all this stuff was coming out of, allegedly. Like a lot of technology and things like that from long ago.
What kind of technology?
I'm not even sure. Like farming, agriculture, mathematics, engineering, all kinds of stuff.
Oh, usually technology, but the more you advance, it's also pushed by weapons creating. So if they had all of this technology, how are a bunch of pale motherfuckers from the north able to come down and take over your country and enslave all of you if you have all this technology?
Well, yeah, I mean, technology advancement changes, right? They, like back in the day, we're talking before guns and stuff like that.
Right.
Apparently, there was a giant army of women that protected the royal family, just like in the movie Wakanda. These fierce women warriors. Yeah, I don't know if it's true or not either. It's just neat. It was a neat history lesson of that, the Congo area, Africa, because that's where they did have all the silver and diamond and gold mines back then. Like, the richest man in history is not Bill Gates or Elon Musk. It's that African emperor who had all those gold mines.
Right.
They said, like, if the amount of money he would have in today's money would be in the trillions of dollars. That's how wealthy they were.
Most African men, I'm generalizing now because it's not all, but most African men in African societies are very patriarchal. The men do all the leading and all the hot shit and fighting. I've yet to come across a story where there were women warriors, or at least competent ones.
Well, that's
most of the time.
Why? Yeah. You don't ever hear about the people that lose. Like, you want an army of women? You're going to lose. That's just the nature of it. No wonder you're not going to hear about it, because they got stomped into the ground.
Well, maybe they shouldn't have had their women fighting. The women should be looking after their families, raising the children, doing whatever women do. Let the men do the fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just always a little iffy about.
In the world.
women have the most important job in the world. You know, because
But they
give
need
birth to the
men.
next generation.
Bet they need the men too, because it takes two to tango. Maybe we should just create an army of children and old people. That'd show them.
No. We need to create an army of men that identify as women. Now that'll be kick-ass.
Yeah, Trump put a kibosh to that. Right now, they're saying that all transgenders have to go in for mental and physical evaluations. And if they're not war ready, then they're going to be asked to leave.
Yeah, look, back to your thing about these civilizations that were in the continent of Africa and how advanced they were. I always ask who's making these documentaries, if they're trying to pander or whatever, like Wakanda and all this other crap. Basically, from my upbringing, what I've seen, what I've read, and all the other cultures that in my country and people, because a lot of people from Africa come to South Africa, they immigrate here because we have all the technology, the jobs, the education, and so on. I'm not saying there weren't any great civilizations in Africa, because there were. But what is masked sometimes is the atrocities these key people, these big figures, committed on their own people. I'm not diminishing anything that colonizers did and coming and killing people and taking over their land or whatever. Well, we have our fair share as Black people of bloodshed. And I feel like sometimes our leaders don't take enough responsibility for that, or at the very least acknowledge that it was done, which makes me fear that it might be repeated. There might be a time where it is repeated. If we had these great civilizations and we stuck together and we worked as a continent together, then maybe we wouldn't be where we are as a whole continent, where we have all of these natural resources, all these riches, and we don't have the technology or the education to turn it into the finished product that makes the money. We get the natural resources and we send them out to the West, and then the West comes back with the finished products to sell it back to us at a higher price. Things could have been different if we decided to work together, but we haven't. So there you go.
I know in Zimbabwe, forget the gentleman's name, but a couple years ago he created this device where he put it on the back of a TV, and it takes the radio waves in the air, collects them, amplifies it, and then turns it into energy. Now, this tech is old. It's from like the 70s, using rectennas to gather radio frequencies and then converting them into DC, so where you can use it as power. So he did this a couple years ago with a television. He could power a television without any wires hooked up to it.
See, that's the thing, though. It's always Zimbabwe. There's a guy in Zimbabwe who invented a car, and it's on YouTube. He invented a car, and it runs on water. Like, Zimbabwe has the highest literacy rate in all of Africa, because when Robert Mugabe took over, he focused more on education, educating their people. That's why a lot of their people come to South Africa. They are so qualified in terms of mathematics and science, and they're doctors, and they then get soaked up by our economy, and then they become South Africans. Whilst when we had power, we didn't focus on education and uplifting the people. Our leaders focused on themselves and enriching themselves. As much as he gets a lot of flack for some of his decisions and his government's decisions in terms of land appropriation, he did try to uplift his people. They have the highest literacy rate in Africa, or at least they did. And a lot of inventors and inventions come from Zimbabwe.
Yeah, he made a car now with that same technology, apparently. You don't have to add anything to it. No petrol, no water, no cord to plug it in and charge it. And it's all set up to where Like they drove it from Zimbabwe to Cairo, Egypt, and back without ever stopping for gas or anything like that. Allegedly.
Well,
I wasn't there.
Allegedly. So why isn't this guy in front of?
Where... Oh, he was. He was on like the news. I just saw this come out 2 days ago. Him talking about his car. He's got people from Israel that are putting money into it. People from Switzerland that are putting money into it. And they have it all set up to where if you try to go into it to reverse engineer it, because apparently the engine has no moving parts. I don't know how it works. I have no clue. But it's got no moving parts, so there is no maintenance needed. There's no oil that's needed in it or anything like that.
There's no money to be made from an invention like that.
There's no movement whatsoever. Yeah. Like, you can't take no movement and just create movement, can you? You have to be able to transfer that energy from one to the next. Like,
I want to see if this is all a scam or if there's like somehow they figured out a way to, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
Our motor has no moving parts.
How would you make money? How would you make money off of something like that?
Well, you're getting investments from Israel. You're getting investments from Sweden. You're getting investments from all these people. Then all you got to do is take that money and disappear. Here's a little matchbox. Enjoy. No moving parts.
If you try to tamper with it and take it apart to reverse engineer it, there's little explosives in it that will destroy the circuit boards and all kinds of stuff like that. And then if you try tampering with the wires to reverse engineer the software, it kills the software and like erases it.
Oh,
he's got all these kill states on it.
Well, that just seems like a stupid fucking thing to do. So if I go over and tamper with somebody else's vehicle, that blows it up and they just can't drive it anymore? Good to know.
Allegedly. Well, I think it's just on the prototype, so people can't steal the technology from him because it's not patented. He refuses to try to get it patented because he knows they're just going to stick it up on a shelf somewhere. So he's like, he's trying to get around this
guy is going to end up dying. He needs to sell his thing for as much money as he possibly can and then dip. He's going to end up dying. Yeah.
Same guy with the guy who drove that water car, right? I think he was from Australia. Ended up there's a guy from the U.S. who did it too. Spent like 20 years in prison and ended up dying in there. Tax evasion bullshit.
Yeah, just sell it. Just sell the technology with much money. There's nothing else you're going to do.
That's what that guy with the whole magnetic motor did. He sold that. I remember that was like 7-8 years ago. I still have the blueprints on one of my cell phones, old cell phones. But it was a magnetic motor that once you started it, like, it didn't slow down unless you stopped it. You had to start it by hitting this thing with a hammer, and the magnetic, orientation, the way it was set up with this flywheel and then all the way around outside the flywheel, once it started going, and if you didn't stop it, it wasn't going to stop until those magnets ran out of juice, which allegedly takes hundreds of years. And it was all the big rave. It was a guy from India who did it. And they showed he was doing a presentation over in Britain.
And yet we're still paying for fuel. We're still paying for fuel, though. Figures.
Mm-hmm. How they keep you in the system, needing them. Even if that person would make trillions and bajillions and quadrillions of dollars, there's a lot of rich people out there that would start losing all their profits.
Shout out to Sherry Eyes for keeping us on track. We are at that midpoint. Sorry to interrupt. Look at us go. And I do have a request here that was actually sent in a couple of weeks ago by Neo Drifter. And I meant to get to it and didn't. Because that's just how I do things. Don't you guys go anywhere, because we will be right back with more of the Ironworks. We got a whole nother hour coming up right after this. Little Chance Pena song called Feel It All.
I don't want to say, but there's not enough time to say it. Couple thoughts in my head, but my mind can't keep from changing. Oh, I had the heart to tell you, but you won't understand, so never mind. For a little while, well, I thought that I could take it, but days go by and I just keep losing patience. Oh, I'm worried life will pass me by, and I'll have spent it all living a lie. Feel it all, fight it all, tell myself it won't be long. Bite my tongue, feel my lungs, breath away till I come undone. All the things I do for you, I know I'm gonna break, am I just too scared to face it? See the tide's coming in, but I'm just too damn complacent. But you always take the best of me, I got nothing left to give, but still I try. Feel it all, fight it all, tell myself it won't be long. Bite my tongue, feel my lungs, bear the way till I come undone. All the things I do for you. Oh, do you feel it? 'Cause I feel it all. Feel my ceiling, and I come to the top. Do you feel it? 'Cause I feel it all. Feel my ceiling, and I come to the top. Do you feel it? 'Cause I feel it all.
Good morning. I'm here. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up!
What is dark matter?
Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school in your hand.
Dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, what I'm afraid of course, is that there is no dark matter out there. There was one? There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard.
Good morning to you. Start your day off bright and shiny. Get up off your little hiney and begin your happy day.
And welcome back. This is the first half of the second half of the Ironworks Streaming live on YouTube and on Rumble. Big shout out to the channel New Data Start. Our friend David, who I know has joined us, was trying to get in at the beginning of the show, but couldn't find the link because Teams is friggin' stupid.
Hey, how you doing?
What's up, David? How are you doing?
Good. I haven't been on for the last couple weeks, so I haven't been great at communicating either, so I just wanted to say hi and jump in today.
Good deal. How you been?
I've been doing pretty well. Just been steady, moving along, and enjoying life, really, is what I've been trying to do. Enjoyed your guys' conversations.
Oh, well, thanks.
I was thinking about it, and what I kept thinking in my head is the idea of the snake oil salesman. And I think basically what we have in our society is the snake oil salesman somehow got in charge of everything. Because it's the petroleum and everything's petroleum based. And then they don't even allow us to use our natural resources by design because they have the structure. So I think it kind of ties to that. And then I also was thinking about how when we're talking finances and the money part, it's all, the numbers are so astronomical, and I thought it was comical because I was listening to people talk about these budgets and the flow of dollars, and you're just like, I can't even imagine $1 trillion, let alone 4.5 trillion, and then you get into 400, and it reminds me of how they do it with the micro and the macro when you get into like how far we can see and how far these things are and how tiny things are and how we put labels on these things, and it just like it's all kind of funny how it works together. And I think the money is how it's tied, is they use it by money as kind of a data point, but it doesn't really mean anything, especially at this point. And like when we have these wars, it's really just transfer of things to the dollar or whatever is the main coin of the time. And one thing you see back, looking back, sorry, I jumped off here. I just want to finish real quick.
You're fine.
But one of the big things about it is that when you look back in history, what we think is these new civilizations, one of the big things they did was destroy the old currency and create the new. And really it was just based on resources. And it's just, it wasn't always that way is what I would say. And if you do base it just on the barter of natural resources amongst a society, it's a whole different system. And if we could figure out a way to get back to that, but I don't know how you do that without figuring out a way to get through the snake oil salesman. That's where I'll leave it.
Yeah, it seems like there's been a few people tried to get past those snake oil salesmen and have died shortly thereafter.
Yeah, especially with the water thing, because there's definitely, it sounds like steam engine is still water, right? Mm-hmm. All that stuff is
nuclear power is water. Just heating up water to turn a turbine. Just using a different type of heat now. You're using a different type of fire, right? Instead of burning wood or coal, you put these two elements together that create a tremendous amount of heat, and it takes a long time for the whole interaction to take place. So you're going to get a lot of heat coming off of it, right? And then they just put it down in water, boil the water turns a turbine, and it creates energy. That's nuclear power. Just a different type of fire. It's no different than a steam-powered... Yeah, we're still on steam power for the most part.
How do they measure the nuclear power? So they're not splitting atoms, right? What is radiation?
No, it's just like when you put these two things together, right, there will be a chemical reaction between them. And this chemical reaction is going to give off a large amount of heat. But the reaction, some reactions happen in an instant. It's like a flash, a phosphorus burn. It just poof, big white puff of smoke, big bright light, and the reaction's over.
Is it the friction that's caused?
Well, no, not so much. Instead of having that explosion that reaction that's a real fast explosion, they found things that take a really long time to react together. So when you put them near each other, it's not a giant explosion. It happens very slowly, the reaction. So like you put these two different rods into the water, and when they start reacting with each other, instead of exploding, they just give off heat, but at a very slow pace instead of an explosion. So it gives off tremendous amounts of heat, and it takes a really long time for the whole chemical reaction to take place. So you have this heat source that's nice and hot, lasting for a really long time. And now you can take that heat source and put it, underwater or in water or whatever, and now you have that water boiling, collecting all that heat, and then turning to steam, which will then turn your turbines.
And we find most of these substances through mining?
Allegedly, yeah. And it's not even really mining. I mean, this stuff is around us everywhere. They find it where it's concentrated more, and they'll mine that. But it's not like they go in and find a big giant chunk of uranium, like pure uranium, right? They have to take a bunch of ore and then crush it down and get all the little tiny pieces of uranium out of there, and then put them all together into one bigger piece of uranium. So yeah, it is mining, but it's not. It's kind of like gold mining nowadays. Most gold mining, you don't go and find a big giant gold nugget. You find a bunch of little tiny specks of gold in a bunch of tons of rocks. And you take all that rock and you refine the gold out of there.
I have this new working theory, which is basically that the meltology idea, but I don't know that it's necessarily melting. It may be magnetic, but whatever, we have some kind of cataclysmic event that. And why I bring that up is because I think if that happened now with the plastics and the metals that we have about, I think that it would possibly melt into our soil, into our structures, and you'd have no real leftover paraphernalia of our civilization other than what was melted left. And if that's where we were left again, the people that started the new society could basically, as they find stuff, go with the flow. And I feel like I know it's macro, but that's kind of how I've been drawing things back, is that it seems like it's possible that at one time there was the same kind of civilization we have now that existed a long time ago, like when the pyramids were going on. And we just think that they never had the ability to have internet and telephones because it's all been melted. So that's kind of.
Well, look at our society now. I mean, how many CDs do you own? When's the last time you bought a CD or something like that?
Right. And that's in the landfills.
We don't have this stuff anymore. It's all digital. Everything. So what if they got to the digital point? And that's why we're not finding a bunch of old books or things like that, because it was all stored digitally. Everything.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like they had we might get to here in our society now where we basically eliminate all libraries because there's no need for them. It's stupid if you have it all digitized. So if that happened,
there's no point in wasting your materials on all this stuff if it's not needed, right? Yeah.
We're basing narratives off of the seventh reboot. I mean, it could have been completely different. We have no knowledge of what it could have been like.
Their tech could have been totally different.
Right.
Totally different.
Obviously, it seems from the structures that you have in all these different geographical places that have similar structure to them, it seems pretty obvious that at one time there was a collective ability to be able to communicate across.
Oh, sure, yeah. Just DNA records are starting to show that, that people were crossing the ocean long before we thought we were.
Right.
People were able to get around the world. And, yeah.
Amazon, with that jungle down there, there's so much stuff in that thing.
Yeah, they still say the Darien Gap is probably the most dangerous jungle on Earth. The reason you can't drive from North America to South America. There's just a jungle there that it's like 250 miles wide that nobody's been able to build a road through. Now, do they do that on purpose? I mean, we built a 24-mile bridge over water. You're telling me you can't build through this jungle? I'm not buying that. I think they just do that on purpose. Keep the continents divided. So can you drive? Yeah, you can drive from South America up to Europe, can't you? Or not South America, South Africa, all the way up to Europe?
Yeah, I think there's places to cross, right?
Yeah.
You can drive.
At Egypt, there should be a bridge where you can get across. You can drive. Wouldn't advise it, but you can.
Do they drive on the left side of the road over there?
Our steering wheels are on the right side of the car.
That's just weird. Liz was trying to get into the driver's seat yesterday. She had forgotten. I was like, "Oh, are you going to drive?"
Yeah.
Okay.
Our roads are same as Europe.
Can you guys see the moon?
Yeah, it's in the
I
sky,
got
man.
overcast today.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's so interesting. I'm in Indiana, and I think it's interesting when, like, the curve of the moon is the opposite way of what you would think it would be. Like the gibbous part, it's very strange. But like it's from the different angle or whatever it is. But moon's just so fascinating. That's one thing I really like about how my life has changed is I take so much more time to emphasize on what's going on with the moon. I never really cared that. I mean, I always liked the moon, but the more you get into this kind of stuff, the more you like looking at the moon.
At 9 or at 5, I believe the moon overhead followed me. By 9, I had deciphered that illusion, trading magic for fact. No trade backs. I only knew now what I knew then. So this is what it's like to be an adult. That's a Pearl Jam. I don't even know if it's a song. That's just one part of... They always had like the weird song on the album. It was just like Eddie talking and some weird noises in the background.
It looks like a veil. To me, I'm looking at it right now. It looks to me, by the naked eye, it looks like a veil that goes over the...
Yeah, it's a mystery.
Yeah.
What was it, the Arcadians? I think they were called. The people that were here before the moon showed up, allegedly. Plato wrote about them. That was their claim to fame, that they've been around since before the moon.
Yeah. Ancient Greek stuff is in... But the ancient Greek stuff is mostly really Roman, isn't it? Hasn't it mostly been tarnished by Roman? It's hard to even get a good interpretation because most of our Greek stuff is like the interpretations of the Romans, of the Greeks. So, like, from what I've understood, isn't that true?
I'm not sure. I never really dug in too deep.
So, this thing about the moon, this thing about the moon, I know there are a couple of ancient civilizations through mythology and I guess oral traditions where they recorded a time where the moon did not exist. What I've always thought about when it comes to the moon is, did it not exist, or did we not perceive it as people, as a civilization? And I'll tell you what I mean. I think the moon was always up there, but until as a civilization and people, human consciousness started developing and moving forward, then we were able to perceive it. Kind of like how we can't really perceive Ketu and Rahu, the other nodes that are up there in the sky, the thing that blocks out the sun in a solar eclipse or whatever. So we don't see it. But maybe that's going to take time for our civilization and human consciousness to progress forward, for us then to all of a sudden see, oh, there's this thing in the sky, for us to be able to see it. Because it seems to me like for a lot of human history, we have been looking at the skies, but the more we have progressed in human consciousness, the more we were able now to see the lunar wave, things happening in the skies, and so on and so on. I think the more we perceive, the more we grow as a human civilization, the more we'll be able to perceive the things that are in the sky.
My gut tells me that the moon is different than the other celestials, and I think it's probably more affected to Earth. And I think my new gut is that it's a remnant of something that happened. Like it is something that maybe it broke off from Earth, or maybe has something to do with some kind of celestial war or event between Earth and I think it's like a piece of something that happened. And it may have had terraform at one point, or it may still, I don't even know, but I just don't think we can go there, is what the real issue is we can't get there now in this current civilization.
When you go back and look into Greek mythology, they talk about a time where they had to change the sky. And then, this is all has to do with the Titans and all that kind of stuff, and Atlas had to go
the moon,
hold up the
moon
sky.
Is very, that would be, the moon's very affiliated with Mother, too. It's with the female. So it might be something that with the female. Like the moon might have been and what's weird about that, though, is I think Gaia or Earth may have birthed the moon as a helper. I don't know. That would be what I would say. Because it's separate than the sun. It seems to have some kind of polarity with the sun. They definitely have an influence on each other. But I think that the moon is
does the Bible specifically mention, like, the moon with craters and this and that, or does it just say a lesser light? Does it ever talk about the moon?
Always comes back to the Bible, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, it's the oldest history book that I know of.
Right. No, I know. Genesis always seems to be the story.
History book, inverted commas.
Yeah. Well, it never really says the word moon, though, does it? I know it says lesser light. But I'm not sure if it ever mentioned
the translation
a moon or a crescent moon.
It depends on what language you're looking at and how it's interpreted when you get to the Genesis stuff.
What's with all the flags out there, the world, national flags that have a crescent moon with a star in the dark part of the moon? Almost like you're seeing a star through the moon. There's quite a few flags out there like that. What does that symbolize?
I would say probably north and the moon. Or what people would associate with north, maybe. I don't know. I think these symbols were important, and they just, like I said earlier, I think somebody reset and they get to make up. They had to identify what these symbols were, and they had, the ability to kind of manipulate things a little bit and use the power of the symbols the way that they wanted to use them. If people are able to do that, because it is very telling that, like, some of the most influential symbols that seem to be pretty prominent in ancient stuff have been inverted into negative connotation and basically banned from usage. So it's interesting for sure.
Yeah, those lights in the sky, man. It'll drive you mad.
I mean, that cross symbol with the that has that the Big Dipper in this. Well, I don't think that's what you call it. Ursa Major and Ursa Minor around the North Star. That symbol itself is supposed to be a very powerful symbol.
Oh yeah.
But
it's found in all kinds of sacred geometry places and stuff like that.
Right. So I just think
demonized.
That for sure. It's very telling. For people that are
inverted,
I'm all
right
to the choir. People that watch this Iron Realm here are all pretty much on the same page. It's hard to get outside of that, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't even imagine being in the Matrix still, so to say, right? Watching the news and believing it.
I enjoy the minimalist because you can't really, once you figure out you can get internal power, you can only really influence what's, somebody said 3 miles away, in the range of 3 miles is what you really have an energy ability to influence. And then if you can make your 3 miles and build off of that, then it could become bigger. But really, that's all you're responsible for. So once I try to stay out of all this macro stuff outside of, when we were talking earlier about going all over, Africa's really interesting. It's one of the places that I really would like to. And I think some of us should be Sagittarius type people that go out and explore. And I'd actually like to be one of those. But you have to be in a certain mode to be able to do those kinds of things. And some people should just internalize and work on home. It's, I think.
So, David, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Say life really is like the Matrix. Say we're in the Matrix right now, and you have your red pill and your blue pill. Your red pill, everything you find out. You find out what the moon is, what is up there, if there's extra land, if the Earth is flat, whatever. You take that blue pill. You take that red pill, you find everything out, but you die. Or they give you that blue pill, and in this life, as you are now, you get to have everything that you want. Finances, fulfillment, children, riches, whatever it is. Until the end of your life. But no truth. What do you pick?
So I don't like the binary. I like to follow the way. So I try not. So here's what I try to do. I like the Tao Te Ching. It's one of my favorite things. It's what I resonate with the most. And it's a life of simplicity, basically. It's the idea that I'm never going to know, and it comes from a really ancient source, and it resonated with me, to live a way where basically whatever your awareness is, your awareness level is going to dictate your ability to live with fulfillment. And ultimately, if you live with fulfillment, I think that you will, regardless of if you're supposed to go to heaven or hell, you've handled your life the way that you should handle it. And you can stand before yourself at the end and say you did your best. It's really hard when we tarnish ourselves early in our lives, which most of us do, to try to reach that level. But I think the contentmentness is really what you're trying to strive for. And you can do that on a daily basis in your awareness presently. So you can use your past to dictate where you are now, but you're still in this present moment. So it doesn't matter.
David, you should have been a lawyer, my friend. Red pill or blue pill?
I don't like I think that if you, I don't want to know. I mean, I do. I would like to know everything, but I don't think that we're capable of it, is what I would say. What I've found is a barrier above and a barrier below that seems to be for humanity, because there's nothing conclusive outside of those barriers. And so all I can do is know what exists inside of where we're at. So we're all kind of on the same boat. So that gives you a lot of power if you don't believe anybody's got any real power over you. But at the same time, you are responsible. So once you become aware of that kind of individual power, that you're the problem for yourself, you have to take ownership. And then you got to become more productive. And that can be difficult. And then you have stress.
Or blue pill?
Neither.
I'll take the.
What evidence do you have that suggests I need to take a pill?
I would take a pill for B and just not have the stress of red.
Okay, fair enough. Cool.
You're pretty much asking if you would want to be Enoch, right?
I like it.
Would you leave
You get to
everything
know
here?
everything you ever wanted to know. You get to know it. By the end of it, you die.
Is it?
Well, yeah, you never get to come back and tell people about it.
Yeah,
right?
you can't tell anyone anything.
So pretty much you just die. I mean,
Pretty much.
well, yeah, that's going to happen anyway. So yeah, I'm with Brian. I'll just live out the rest of this, and then when I die, I'll
Find
die.
out the secrets.
Give me the red pill
When you
then.
die, you might find out other things, but you're not going to find out the entirety of everything. That's what the red pill is for. You take it, you get to find out everything, and then you die.
Now, I'm weird enough, man. I don't need to to know anymore. I already feel like a fish out of water walking around in public.
You know, with Liz hanging out there, it really throws off her internal clock, which means she's not usually in chat during the show. She usually listens after the fact, and because of that, we have blown right through the break. So we're going to play a little music. I'm going to go do a couple of things, and we'll be right back for the fourth and final segment of the IRONWORX. Kicking off right now.
Workers are more comfortable than ever, more satisfied, and this, as we know, leads to complacency. As workers become more at ease, more content, productivity falls. The bottom line suffers. That's where we come in. Here at Hilltop Industries, we specialize in crushing the spirit, demoralizing the staff. Our elite team are well-trained and always at the ready to remind your staff about the fragility of their vocation. Hell, the fragility of life. Our slogan, don't happy, be worried.
I've got a mortgage.
Something's in the air I can't put my finger on. My first world worries seem a little funny when we got a bigger problem. Try to wash away my cares, they just seem to linger on. In times like these, I try breathe and put it down into song. Got trust issues, bad paparazzi, half of the news that act for Ghazi. Famine, but the snakes at the party. Elon Musk and that pack of Nazis. Some are fighting boredom around their house, others fight for borders around their house. Fallout's getting sort of scary now. This new world order, tear it down. This rising temperature, you say. You worry about the weather on Tuesday. Ice caps are melting apart. I'm building an ark, prepping for doomsday. 1 minute to midnight and counting. Get a feeling a bit like I'm drowning. Clock's ticking and live life for nothing. So good, I'm gonna be just fine. I'm not here for a good time or a long time for what it looks like. Don't at me, I'm sorry. Don't happy, be worried. I'm not here for a good time or a long time for what it looks like. Don't at me, I'm sorry. Don't happy, be worried. Be worried, be worried, be worried, be worried. She's worried, he's worried, we worry, be worried. Tim Curry, Pete Murray, Bill Murray, Keith Murray, P. Money, Steve Harvey, Kid Cudi, Steph Curry. That's just a list of guys unconnected you will find. It's just a rhyme and exercise that I used to calm my mind. Cause I'm worried, not a first, and I'm only getting worse. I see defeat like an open sandal. Shit's about to blow like a Roman candle. 99 look, balloon's about to pop. Why do I feel the nuke's about to drop? Mighty, mighty pause, turn time to knock on wood. Cause it ain't no good, make us. You take your kids to Willy Wonka while I choose a carpet for my bunker. Want my kids for another summer, and I'm sure that Trump must love a bunker. So keep that finger off the red button. Looters come out but they'll get nothing. Come too close on my head bottom. Cheer up, it could always be worse. I'm not here for a good time or a long time for what it looks like. Don't at me, I'm sorry. Don't happy, be worried. I'm not here for a good time or a long time for what it looks like. Don't at me, I'm sorry. Don't happy, be worried. Be worried, be worried, be worried, be worried. She's worried, he's worried, we worry, be worried. A little bit of worry is healthy, a bit of concern is natural. I don't need you to help me. Ain't shit you can tell me, I'm just being practical. A little bit of worry is healthy. help is. Ain't shit you can tell me, I'm just being practical. I'm not here for a good time or a long time for what it looks like. Don't at me, I'm sorry, don't have me, be worried. I'm not here for a good time or a long time for what it looks like. Don't at me, I'm sorry, don't have me, be worried, be worried, be worried, be worried, be worried. She's worried, he's worried, we worry, be worried.
Today at Denny's, buy one slam and get a second one for only $1.
Hi, this is Alan. I like IRONWORX because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love IRONWORX with Josh, Walt, and Zack. It's like sitting in your front room having a cozy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that IRONWORX with Josh, Walt, and Zack, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the IRONWORX.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. IronRealmmedia is the best on the plane. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to the IRONWORX with Zack, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on the IRONWORX and become an Iron Scout.
Good morning, good morning. We talked the whole night through. Good morning to you. Good morning. It's great to stay up late. Good morning to you.
And welcome back. Fourth and final segment of the IRONWORX kicking off right now. Sorry to interrupt you guys. Go ahead and pick up where you left off.
There was one?
Exactly. I just knew I wouldn't be able to do it, so I thought it'd be funny to put you all on the spot.
So I saw an article, right? A guy, we're going to rip on Tesla a little bit. It's been a while. So Tesla is now taking trade-ins for their Cybertruck. For a while there, they were like, no, we don't even want them back. You have to keep it. We're not going to accept it as a trade-in. So now they're taking it back. This guy paid $100,000 for his Tesla, right? Put 6,000 miles on it over 4 months or so. And Tesla will take it back and give him $65,000 for the trade-in value. So for 6,000 miles of driving, it cost him $35,000. I was looking up prices for a limo. And you could do that trip in a limo for like way cheaper, like probably less than 1/10 of the price that he paid to travel those 6,000 miles. It was $5.06 or 60 cents a mile to drive his Cybertruck around.
And I bet you it was more than that. Like, that's with 6,000 miles put on it. What if it was 2? You think they're going to give you a whole bunch more? You put 2,000 miles on it? Or 25 miles? Again, it's a depreciation. You drive the fucking thing off the lot, you turn around, like, I changed my mind. They're still probably going to give you $65,000 of the trade-in value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 10 miles, 6,000, probably doesn't matter. That's all you're going to get is that $35,000 knockoff for driving it off the lot. I've never seen a vehicle depreciate so quickly. So yeah, if you have a Cybertruck and you don't want it anymore, and nobody will buy it off you, yada, 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 this and that, this may be your best shot at getting rid of it without, with only taking a 35% hit, losing a third of your investment there.
You know what I like? I like the electric bikes. That's the shit. That's what I think I want.
I'm seeing them all over the place.
They're really cool, man. You can get up and go pretty much if you're in an area where you can use them. And You can still pedal, but they're really. I'm definitely going to be getting into electric bikes for sure. I like to walk more too. That's the big thing I've been trying to do, but I live in an area that I can.
I've heard with the electric bikes, you really got to be careful, like which ones you're buying. Make sure you find one where the company is really well established and has been doing it for a while and has good reviews. Because there's a lot of them out there. Some of them are like super expensive too. There was this spokeless electric bike that weighs like 85 pounds. The bike does. And the company's out of business now, so you can't get repair parts. You can't get it fixed. And it's like a $3,500 bike or something like that. A spokeless. Yeah, it's, oh my goodness. It's just a mess. But yeah, no, there's a lot of people that have a lot of good things to say about those electric bikes.
I don't have any idea what I'd be doing, so I wouldn't even get one if I didn't know a guy that could repair it. That's one thing I would need in that. I'm not very good at cars, so I try to buy an old car and run it down is what I've been trying to do just when I need a car. But
I'm seeing in chat, don't buy a Shimano powered e-bike. Yeah, there's certain companies I'm sure that have it down, and others that, they'll put one out, but it may not be a very good version of an e-bike.
I'm not deep into the subject, but it seems to me that electric cars make sense if you could figure out a way to make it efficient. Do you guys think that? I've always thought it was interesting how strong Republicans went against, not that you guys are Republicans, but the position of like anti-electric car. Like if we could make it to where it was actually beneficial, wouldn't it be good?
Yeah, if you can make it to where it's beneficial. But the whole reason for them doing it, the climate change, this and that,
right,
it was kind of an oxymoron.
Like anything, it's dark money just being flowed through.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're actually burning more fossil fuels using the electric vehicles, the way our system is set up right now.
But it seems like you should be able to get to it. Wouldn't be doing that, where you could make it to where is lithium the only way that you can use a battery? Is that the only way to use the electric method?
Well, no, it's not even the lithium. It's just getting the electricity to the car.
Oh, the infrastructure.
Yeah, through all the wires and everything and all. You lose so much power transporting it and then charging it up. You're actually wasting more fossil fuels than if you just ran a gas-powered engine. So it's kind of counterintuitive. If your whole reason for doing it is to put out less CO2, right? That's the main goal of all this nonsense.
Well, let's say that's not the main goal, though. Let's just say efficiency is.
But efficiency of what? What are we trying to be more efficient at doing?
Of energy, like if an electric car lasts longer because it's got less combustion, and if it's just easier to get it on like a streamline, I could see where instead of having all these gas stations all around, it'd be much more efficient to just have these electric sources. Like ultimately through a structure of us all just working together and taking away government and like, let's do what makes sense and use what's already here. I would think the electric rail system and all kinds of electric like infrastructure would be the best way to do it, as opposed to this petroleum where you're combusting. But
it's just, I don't know. The amount of, because you're still using some kind of fuel, whether it be coal or nuclear or whatever. You're still going to be using. Well, the stuff coming out of your car is clean, but the stuff you're using to charge up the car is not clean.
Right.
And
is it
you
bad
use more of that than you would just regular petrol, gasoline.
And it could be possible that overusing electricity might be bad. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I would like to see one day, or maybe even like a week, where we turned off all radio frequencies and see what that does to us.
I think there's potential that, like, the celestial events that happen over time in certain situations might affect that. I think it might come to points where the electronic grid just goes down, just because that's the period of time that you go through according to that clock. And I do think Mercury has something to do with us for sure.
I've seen Mercury.
Like
Only
where it
happens
is and
for like maybe a couple weeks, 2 times a year. Sometimes it might only be like 10 days. It's visible. And it's always either right at sunset or right at sunrise. I've only seen it during sunrise. I've tried to look for it at sunset, but I didn't see it. But no, it does look like a red, glowing, burning ball. It's unlike any other planet, that you see in the sky. Most of them, to the naked eye, just look white. They all kind of look like a star, a little bit bigger than a star. But Mercury is red. It's like, it looks like it's a burning red ball. It's wild. Yeah, it changed my life when I saw it. I don't know why. I can't explain why. But I remember seeing it and just being so awestruck.
What would you describe Mercury? Is it an oil on Earth? What is Mercury? What would it be classified as?
I don't know. I don't know if you can find it anywhere in nature, like where we see it like that. Because Mercury's in the grass, it's in us, it's in the trees, it's in the rocks, it's everywhere around us.
How do they identify it?
But again, I'm not sure how they concentrate it, like smash it all together. And Mercury can be solid at room temperature. Over in India, they eat it.
Can oil be solid?
I don't know. It's Mercury. It's not like solid, not like a piece of wood solid. It's kind of like a wet clay almost, it looked like they could shape it with their hands, but it didn't just run off of the trays that it was sitting on. It wasn't like a liquid form. They could mound it up and turn it into this long, silvery looking, for a lesser word, turd, it kind of looked like. And then they would cut it into slices and eat it. They're still practicing this today over in India.
Does crystalline or the crystal stuff, does it have any effect on Mercury?
I'm not sure.
Because you're into that.
I've never really played with Mercury all that much. I'd like to. I'd like to play with natural raw Mercury and not processed Mercury. There's a difference. They say one is, toxic to human beings and really bad for you to be playing with and messing with, and the other one you can eat. So yeah, it's nothing I've ever got to play around with and mess with, just stuff I've read and heard about.
It's supposed to be like in mythology, it's the message bringer, right? Isn't that what Mercury is supposed to be?
Not sure.
I think that's what it's supposed to be. But I'm not positive.
It'd be fun to play with. I've seen all kinds of videos of people floating cannonballs in it and all kinds of crazy stuff like that. But I don't want to die playing with, to play around. I try to be super careful. I want to, Lowry and Nico are in the area. They're going to come over and hang out. I'm going to get the Rubens tube going again because they really didn't get to see it all that much. It was outside and kind of windy, so they never got to see it at its real potential. Yeah, that'll be fun. had a great time over at Karen B Saturday night. They were covering some of the video over on the Tinfoil Sombrero last night. It was a good show. Yeah, it's just fun getting together and hanging out like that.
So we use, I'm still stuck on this mercury thing. So we use mercury in the thermometers, though. That's the basis for the barometric pressure, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, they use that. Yeah.
That's the baseline of what they use.
Yeah, I'm not sure what kind of mercury it is that they put in those. How processed it is. Or...
I feel like the mercury is what is like the liaison or the in-between mother and father. That's what I'm kind of going with this. I think it's like the messenger.
Well, I know
I think that might...
alchemy, that's the alcohol that's in everything.
Right. Right.
You have alcohol in you, plants do, rocks do. Everything has alcohol, oils, and salts. That's what we're made up of. The salt is like the crystalline structure that holds everything together, and the alcohol and the oil mix together to make all the other stuff inside of you. Can be broken down to those three components.
What I've been doing off of that is I think of the Trinity, and my new thing with the Trinity is that your mind is associated with the oils, and then your body is associated with the blood, and then there is the breath. So mind, body, soul is your breath is your soul. So we breathe in and out. That's kind of your soul. Your blood is what is associated with mother, more on earth here, and then the in between is your oil, which is from Mercury or Mercury based, which I think is kind of our consciousness. I think we get that collective consciousness through the oils that we call Christ consciousness. That's my new thing.
I heard this guy talking about what we're breathing in. What is this air stuff, right, that we're breathing in? And he said, what happens if you stop breathing? If you hold your breath, what's the first thing that you lose? Like you go into a room, there's no air in it, and you suck all the air out. What's the first thing that's going to happen to you? Is it going to be your heart stop? Is it going to be your fingers start falling off? Or your eye? Like what would be the first thing that happened? We're not talking pressure differentials or anything like that. Just physically to you, to your body. What would be the first thing that happens when you can no longer take in air?
Panic.
You lose your consciousness, right? You'll still be breathing, or you'll still be your heart will still beat. Your lungs would still try to breathe. You know, all the stuff that your body does to keep you alive is still going to be going, but your consciousness escapes you. That's the first thing you lose. So are we breathing in consciousness? Do we need that to keep?
It does something in our body because we have blood and oil in our body. And water, and whenever you breathe in this air, it's fuel. You're bringing in things into your body, and then when you expel it, you are expelling out. So that's why I think breathing is so powerful. And it does have an effect if there's things in the air that you're breathing in, right, and out. But I think that's where people really mess. In breathing, I think the big thing that we have to remember, especially in panic situation, is the out. You really focus on getting it out of your system and then breathe in through your nose and taking it in, and taking it all the way in. But you really want to focus. A lot of people give up on the breathing out part and they go back in again without getting as much out as they can. I think that's where we really...
Well, yeah, the breathing out is when you actually take the stuff into your system, not the breathing in of it. That's just gathering it. When you exhale,
also-
all that stuff goes into your allegedly veins and arteries and all that stuff, right? And we don't use most of it. We still exhale oxygen. You know, it's not like we use all that oxygen that we're taking in.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
don't
very
even-
small percentage.
I try not even. I go more esoteric even than that because I'm so tired of the labels.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's so much deception in them. That's why I like alchemy so much, because you really simplify things down to easier for me to understand anyways.
Yeah, you could really say the difference in the air, you know, like this air to that air, the different elements, is the charge potential of that air.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
That's what I meant over the 3 mile thing, though. It seems like from people that I've talked to, that's like your 3 mile radius is your energy ability to emanate, like naturally, your ability to really have an effect. And when the problem with these phones is the good thing with the phones is it's a tool. You can get into all these different conversations with people and have all these great moments, but you have to, when you get done with the conversation, turn it off and then really focus on where you're at in your own real realm. If you want to remove the stress and actually have any kind of real true impact, because if you're stressed out, you're affecting everybody that's around you, which is your own little 3 mile radius. I think that's where the awareness and being able to discern and be, you know, take different moments of time and use those moments for what you're supposed to use them for. But we all got to change our, like, go into the real world and do real things. Or you can just sit on your duff all day long. You could do that too. It's not very productive, though.
I came to not a conclusion, but it's been an ongoing hypothesis of mine, and I shared it because I got bit by a mosquito out at Karen's. I don't get bit by mosquitoes very often, but we were sitting there trying, you know, getting the fire going, and it was still daytime out. You know, it was maybe 3 or 4 in the afternoon. We were just getting it going, so by the time it got dark, it would be a good fire. You know, you just throw some wood on there and it'd light right up, get some good coals going. And we were contemplating, like, why were mosquitoes created? Like, what purpose do they serve? I know a lot of other bugs eat them, but what is their, like, function? What is their main purpose? And we noticed that out in the yard where it's all sunny, there were no mosquitoes, right? They didn't want to be out there in the sun. It was hot. But in the shade, in the woods, it was nice and a little bit cooler, you know, no sunlight, so the mosquitoes would gather there. What if mosquitoes were created to get lazy people off their asses from just sitting in the woods in the shade when it's hot out and get them going out into the sun to get their energy? You know, it's like creators looking down like, man, these lazy humans, some of them are out there doing their thing. You know, they're out in the fields gathering the food and hunting or whatever, building this or that. But there's these other ones that are just lazy, sitting there in the woods, letting everybody else do all the work. What could I make that would get them off their butts? Not kill them, just annoy the piss out of them to where they wouldn't want to sit in the woods anymore.
Have you heard the? It's not a debate theory, but he was presented in one of his videos of how the leash society. Or I don't remember what it's called, but it's
I hate to cut you off, David, but we're about out of here. I didn't didn't even realize we were like on it. I love you guys. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Yeah, real good conversation. Glad you made it in.
Thank you, Josh.
Oh, thank you, Zack. Thank you, everybody. I saw 52-ish people watching. That's pretty awesome. We'll see you all back here on Wednesday, and hopefully you'll be joined by Walter. Meanwhile, you guys have a great Monday and a great rest of your week. And we'll see you then. Until then, be good, be well. Do good, do it well. We love you. We try to appreciate you.